I asked Director David Maxwell to join me today. He's dressed probably more appropriately after we took our flight on the helicopter through some of the flood areas of Arkansas, and I want to express my appreciation to David for helping us through this time of emergency response here in the state. I know that Director Maxwell will be leaving here and also taking a survey of the Little River region in southwest Arkansas as well. And as a result of my survey of the flooding today, I've added 5 new counties to the disaster declaration that was issued earlier. These 5 counties represent counties that have been continued to suffer damage and loss because of the flooding. The counties I just added are Miller, Lafayette, Crawford, Faulkner, and Logan counties. And in addition to these counties that I just added today, of course, there's already Little River County and some others in southwest Arkansas, including Nashville area as a result of a tornado previously. So we've been hit in Arkansas significantly, but the counties I'm adding today are as a result of the survey that we took this morning. And I want to applaud our local responders and volunteers, everything from levee patrols in Miller County to moving and volunteering to help move cattle and farm equipment from low-lying areas in southwest Arkansas. Little River County, I know that you've had a couple highways that have been temporarily closed because of the flooding. And I want everyone to be assured that we are paying close attention to this, providing state support as needed. Right now, the local responders are doing a terrific job in helping to protect lives and property during this time of concern here in the state. We'll continue to support the local efforts and monitor this as in Little River County, I know that the surge continues and the height of the water will continue for another, I think, 2 days. So we'll continue to monitor the situation. With that, David, I want to thank you for your help, and I want to move on to the special session and address that session that was just concluded. And I know we have a number of legislators here today, and thank you for coming back. And I first want to applaud them for coming in for a special session, doing the job, passing all the key pieces of legislation in a very timely fashion with thorough debate, and then leaving and going home. And so the session started on Tuesday. It concluded on Thursday, and during that time, we accomplished the 2 principal reasons for the call of the session, and that is the job creation opportunity in South Arkansas with Lockheed-Martin and the Act 82 bond issue that was passed with overwhelming bipartisan support by both bodies, and I will be happy to sign that Act 82 legislation shortly. In addition to that effort, and I applaud Mike Preston, Economic Development, he testified in behalf of that bill, and then our local officials, some of them are here as well, and our legislators that supported that all did a terrific job. Secondly, we came here to accomplish some efficiency items in state government. We had one major bill that accomplished 4 different changes in state agencies that will result in over $10 million in savings over 5 years. Small things matter when you're looking out after the taxpayers' money. And the legislature looked at it carefully, and again, it was passed, I think, unanimously in both houses on a bipartisan basis. One piece of legislation that created a substantial amount of debate was moving the primary from May 20 to March 1. And I like the legislature looking over my shoulder. I like them second guessing it and making sure that this is the right thing to do for Arkansas. And in the end, they concluded that it was. And this took a supermajority vote to get the emergency clause passed. And so again, we had both Democrats and Republicans join in this effort to move the primary. And it was after thorough debate. I think in the end, this will be good for Arkansans because they'll have an incredible opportunity and an exciting opportunity to engage in the debate that we will see every night unfold over all the television stations and all the media outlets in terms of the debate over the selection of our next president. Arkansas will have a unique opportunity to participate in that. In addition to those items, we did a fix on the DWI legislation that would avoid Arkansas losing tens of millions of dollars in highway funding. Again, the legislature did an effective job in remedying that in an effective way and even offering an amendment that improved the legislation. Finally, a small fix on I-555 that allows farm equipment to be transported on a section of interstate highway, matches what's happening at the federal level. And here again, that was a quick action by the legislature to make sure that we're in the best position for highway development, for job creation, for efficiency in government. And so it was a good session. I appreciate personally the responsiveness of the legislature and making an extra effort to be here, to stay here, get the job done, and to do it in such a quick and thorough fashion. So with that, I wanted to open it up for questions that you might have, and then we'll go through the bill signing. I'll ask the legislators to join me. Are there any questions?
During the debate on the primary bill, there were some comments from some legislators that the governor's office, they thought hadn't done a very good job of building a consensus before the session started. Well, what would you say to that?
That we had not done a good job? Actually, you know, I've thought through that, and you know, we did, first of all, have this significantly debated during the regular session. There was a bill that was offered. It went through committee. It went through hearings, and I supported it then. So really, this is an issue that has been debated for almost, 4 or 5 months. But then it did not go through the regular session, and partly because I preferred separating the presidential primary from the regular primary. The legislature didn't think that was wise. It would have cost extra money, cost-saving measure. They said it ought to be combined. And so we went back to the table. In preparation for the session, I talked to some of the leadership. I talked to some of the members. And basically, they wanted to continue the debate. And so we put it on there, knowing there wasn't 100% consensus, but this was our last opportunity to do it. And so we put it on there, and the consensus did develop through the course of the session. Steve? What next? Good question. And even though we've got a lot done, there's always next. And first of all, we have our Highway Task Force that will be convening in June. We're starting to focus, and I know the Legislative Task Force has already started the debate on the next phase of Medicaid reform in this state. I've started to engage in that very earnestly and thoughtfully, and starting to work through those challenging issues. You know, in addition, we're going to continue the work of efficiency in government. And that's not a one time you finish it and you move on, but you manage it every day. We continue to manage a number of other issues that I won't go into, but there's a lot that is next.
How do you feel about the prospects of Lockheed-Martin winning this contract, and how nervous and do you sit and watch this as the decision plays out?
They're in a very competitive position. I've tried to do my own background research, talk to the federal delegation just as to, and my sources in the Defense Department, just as to what are the opportunities here. And I think they're good, but it is a competitive environment, and we're competing with 2 other major companies. We're competing with 2 other states. And I know that their delegations and constituency want it just as much as we would like to have it here in Arkansas. So there's not any guarantee, and I think it's wise to make sure that the public understands that we would not even have a chance if the legislature had not convened and taken these steps to provide competitive pricing. We wouldn't even be in the ball game. Now we're in the ball game in a very competitive way. We'll just have to wait to see how the process works with the Defense Department. I believe our federal delegation had it right that they're fully convinced that this will be decided on its merits, as it should be. When it's decided on its merits, we're in a competitive situation, and I hope we'll win.
Have you been watching the problems with the DHS verification software? The director said yesterday that's going to cost an extra $100 million. Are you concerned about that, first of all? And second of all, are you convinced that the director should stick around as his job saves?
I've followed it very closely. I've been briefed on it a number of times. There's two concerns that I have. One is obviously the cost, but the second concern I have is the necessity of this verification to the enrollees on our Medicaid system. And one thing the public wants is that those who are receiving these benefits actually qualify, that there's we do everything we can to limit and eradicate abuse of the system, and so to do that, you've got to have the verification system in place. These are large IT projects. Some of the challenges have been changing rules by the federal government. Some have been expectation of new demands at the state level. And so, yes, it is a concern. Monitored very closely, giving direction on it as needed, and we'll continue to do so.
The director's job?
John Seelig has responded to every request that I have in this regard. He's taken a very difficult task, tried to manage it. Obviously, as he indicated in his testimony the other day, mistakes have been made. My job is to make sure that we do everything we can to eliminate those mistakes in the future, and Director Seelig is doing everything in that regard as well. And so we'll continue to monitor it. Many of these things, many of these challenges came up last year. And so I was briefed on them this year. We're trying to take the corrective action necessary.
When do you foresee the next special session happening?
Well, I hope a long time away from then. If I hadn't given that answer, I might have everybody run out on me. But there's not any plan for another session. Obviously, we don't want to have these often, but you know, we said from day one that there's certain things we have to come back to the legislature on. And one of them is, you know, any changes in Medicaid reform as a result of the healthcare task force. And so, but that should not be this year. It should be a next year issue, and we'll just wait to see how that develops.